And they're going to go crazy because these are purple popsicles. Of course they want them, but everything in there is something you're proud for a kid to enjoy. Send them home with a couple extras for mom and dad. Okay. So anyhow, this is the book that we put together. It's called The Power Foods Diet. And let me encourage you to have a look at it. And I want to say a huge word of thanks to Dustin Harder, who not only did wonderful recipes, but also did all this food photography, which I have to say is about 1 inch away from food porn. If you don't mind my saying, it's about 1 inch away from food porn, but that's what it should be, because we want people to buy it and like it and think of food as something fun, which it is. Okay, let's go back to Harvard. I just want to walk you through what the foods are and why they work. Okay, food group number 1 at Harvard was berries, but the number 2 weight loss food at Harvard was cruciferous vegetables. You know them already. Cancer fighters, that's broccoli, it's cauliflower, cabbage, Brussels sprouts. These are all cruciferous vegetables. Group number 3, green leafy vegetables in general. And that can be spinach. And yes, it can be lettuce also. Stop bad-mouthing lettuce. People think, iceberg lettuce, what's the nutrient value? Hey, it's doing its best. It doesn't have any animal fat. It doesn't have any cholesterol. So lettuce counts. Yes, it does. All right, so after group number 3, let's go to group number 4, which is melons. And this can be cantaloupe. By the way, cut it up as soon as you get back from your house, because that way, if you cut it up, your family's too lazy to do this. You got to cut it up. You got to put it in a glass bowl. And then when it's in your refrigerator like that, people are going to eat that instead of some junk. Watermelon, same story. Cut it up, turn it into little snacks, and it's a healthy food. The cantaloupe has that orange color from beta carotene. The watermelon has that red color from lycopene. These are powerful antioxidants that, by the way, are not just associated with weight loss, they're associated with reduced risk of cognitive decline. So build them into your routine. Okay, citrus fruits. Number 5, citrus fruits. That can be grapefruit. It can be oranges. It can be oranges added to your salad. It can be orange juice. Yeah, maybe you're better off with a whole food, but orange juice beats the socks off a glass of milk or a soda. So orange juice is okay. Group number 6, legumes, the bean group. Very high in fiber, and every kind of legume counts, including soy and including soy products. By the way, if you had the idea that soy causes cancer, the opposite is true. Soybean consumption reduces cancer risk in women and in men. And women previously diagnosed with breast cancer, if they consume more soy, the likelihood of a recurrence is reduced. So the reason I say that is some people got the idea that soy causes cancer. It does not. Soy products are associated with reduced risk of breast cancer, reduced risk of dying of a cancer you already had, and reduced risk of cancers in men as well. Okay, so why do power foods work? I mean, berries and melons, citrus fruits and vegetables. What are they doing for weight? Well, they do 3 things. They tame your appetite, they trap calories, they boost your metabolism, and I want to just walk you through each of these real quick. Appetite taming. You know the answer to this already. How many calories are there in a gram of fat? 9 calories, right? How many calories in a gram of carbohydrate? Carbohydrate, that means starch, means sugar, only 4. And fiber has practically 0 or close to 0 calories. So what this means is if I fill up on a food that doesn't have any carbohydrate in it, but has a fair amount of fat, I'm going to take in more calories on the way to filling up my stomach. If I eat foods that have a lot of carbohydrate and a lot of fiber, when my stomach fills up, I didn't get as many calories. So fiber is only in plants, not in animals. Carbohydrate, complex carbohydrates, there isn't any of that in meat or in an egg. So foods that are derived from plants typically tend to be filling with fewer calories. Now, our team put this to the test in a particularly graphic way. We brought in 62 people who wanted to lose weight, and we asked half of them to do a Mediterranean diet. We asked the other half to do a vegan diet, a low-fat vegan diet. And after 16 weeks, the 2 groups switched. The Mediterranean group went vegan. The vegan group, after 16 weeks, went Mediterranean. So everybody had both diets in random order, and they were able to test out. So what happened was the Mediterranean group first thought, oh, this diet is great. It's so indulgent. It's really lovely. I'm driving down the coast of Tuscany with my wonderful Mediterranean diet, except that they were kind of disappointed because they didn't really lose much weight. Now, the vegan group, they discovered that a vegan diet does not mean that you acquire a taste for folk music. A vegan diet just means you're not eating animal products. And if you keep oils low too, you lose weight without limiting calories. And that's exactly what happened. After 16 weeks, we asked everyone to stop, take 4 weeks off, and now do the opposite diet. So the Mediterranean group now went vegan, and they started losing weight. The vegan group now went Mediterranean, and they started gaining weight. And you have never seen an angrier group of research participants in your life. They liked the vegan diet. They had lost their taste for cheese and meat. And we said, wait, you've got to go to a Mediterranean diet for science. And they started regaining the lost weight. So a Mediterranean diet is a placebo when it comes to weight loss. It does not cause weight loss. A vegan diet is very effective, provided you're truly avoiding the animal products and keeping greasy foods low. Okay, no, by the way, there's a couple other things. Regarding cholesterol, a Mediterranean diet is also ineffective for cholesterol lowering. On the left, you see total cholesterol, vegan diet, much better. LDL, or bad cholesterol, a Mediterranean diet, really not much use. A vegan diet, very effective. But no, there was one area, and that was blood pressure lowering, where we actually saw both diets effective, but the Mediterranean diet more so, both for systolic blood pressure and diastolic blood pressure. And I don't know why, but I am going to guess that it's the extra virgin olive oil that the people were consuming on the Mediterranean diet that has polyphenols that can reduce blood pressure. So it wasn't all bad news for the Mediterranean group. All right, so appetite taming is the first thing. The second thing is calorie trapping. When you eat a bean or some whole grain bread, there's fiber in that food, and you're chewing the fiber up. And when you chew it, it makes a million little tiny fiber particles that go down your digestive tract. Excuse me. The fiber is the green here, and it's going down your digestive tract like a sponge that traps unabsorbed calories. So there are calories you haven't absorbed yet. The fiber grabs a hold of them, and it carries those calories down your digestive tract, and there they go. And you end up flushing them down the toilet. What I'm saying is, the more fiber you eat, the more it grabs some calories and it carries them away. So researchers at Tufts University did a study where they asked people to eat either refined grains or whole grains. Whole grains means the fiber is still there. So white bread versus a whole grain bread. And what they did is they brought in 90 people for a 6-week study. And what they also did, which my research team is not going to do, was they took stool samples from everybody. And what they showed is that if you ate the whole grains, you would end up losing about 100 calories per day. So that's not huge,